Hey guys, this is Andy again. Just finished up cutting some wood and had a little extra time here, and this is a video I've been wanting to make for a while, so I thought I'd go ahead and do it. If you can see behind me here, I've got our John Deere Gator 860i. I've had this thing about 4 years now, and for anybody who's looking for a side-by-side or utility vehicle or something like that, you know, you see reviews all the time online about brand new ones. Well, when I'm looking for something, of course a brand new one's going to be good. I want to know about the guy that's had it for a while and has seen how things are going to hold up. So I thought I would do this review today. You know, the 860i is a relatively new machine. I think I bought one of the first ones that had just come. That my dealer got, and it replaced the 850i. And I know they had some troubles with the 850 and the 860. They were supposed to be fixed and everything. I'm not exactly sure what troubles they had with the 850, but you know, according to the dealer, all that stuff was supposed to be fixed on the 860. So I'm gonna give you a walk around of our Gator here today and kind of explain a few things if you're looking to buy something like this, and show you a few things you might want to look for when you do go buy one. All right, first off, like I say, it's the 860i. You can see right there it has the power steering, which is in my opinion a must-have feature on something like this. It's four-wheel drive, obviously. You can see here we got the four-wheel drive selector on the dash. Down here you have the gear selector, which is neutral, high and low, and reverse is all the way up. Then you have what I like to call the old shit bar right there for the passenger to hold on to while you're getting kind of crazy with this thing. It does have a dump bed, which is a manual dump bed. You can see I've got it full of fence and stuff right now. It's kind of a mess, but all you do is pull this handle and kind of let gravity take its place. The way the bed is made, you can put a load into this bed, and just the way I don't know exactly how it works, but the way they've got the pivot points and stuff set up, it doesn't take a lot of effort to make this bed dump. You've got tailgate on the back. Down here you've got your standard 2-inch receiver, and it'll accept anything like you'd put into the into the back of your pickup. I added a little accessory right here. This is a chainsaw holder, and the bar of your chainsaw goes down right in there. Then these right here screw against the chainsaw bar, and it holds it in place. And it's, you know, if you do a lot of trail riding, that's something that's really nice to have. It keeps the chainsaw up out of your bed, and you know, if you're trail riding, you never know what you're going to run into. So anyways, let's get into it here. First off, this thing comes with some really nice seats. This is probably one of the more comfortable side-by-sides I've ever sat in. It rides amazing, and I can't say enough about how well this thing rides. Now it does have, let's see if I can show you here, does have a 2-inch suspension lift on it. Right here is the spacers for the back, and around here you had this drop that drops the mounting point of the shock down, and so it in turn pushes the A-arms down and makes the thing sit 2 inches higher. But that's going to bring me to one of my first drawbacks about this machine. It originally from the factory was a very low riding machine. It set low. It set really low, and as you can see right there, it still sets low. It's definitely not the machine that you know, for an off-road vehicle, in my opinion, it's set really low. And that was something I had to change, because we took this thing up to West Virginia on the trails, and it would bottom out on stuff that shouldn't be bottoming out on. And So we had to add the 2-inch lift kit on this thing. Also, one other thing, I'm going to switch the camera around here. Hold on. All right. One other thing that we have done to this machine, as far as upgrades go, is we put a, right here's the size. I don't know if you can read that or not, but it's a 28-inch tire. It's 2811 by 14. The stock tires were 26s, and they done good. I just wanted to get a little more ground clearance, though. Like I said, that's one of the issues I had with this machine was ground clearance, and I still think it should be more, but it is what it is. We've got it now, and this is as high as you can go. I'm pretty sure that the 2 inches as high as they'll go. So first off, let me show you here. Turn the switch on. All right, let me show you. Turn the switch on. You can see on the, turn the radio down here. You can see on the hour meter there, I've got 154 hours on this thing, which really is not much at all. Then, that's the wrong button. I do that every time. That dims the screen there, if you can see that. There we go. Now, right there, 1,131 miles is what's on this machine now. And that's not a lot either, really. I don't know if you can tell it or not. My time's a little off. It's definitely not 154. I wish it was. But, so, anyways. Alright. For what I was wanting to say about this machine, it's had a few issues. We rode it for about a year, and we put the majority of the miles that's on this thing was put on it the first 2 years that we had it. We rode it hard the first year. We went to West Virginia with it several, I don't know, almost once a month, and we were riding this thing a lot, me and my wife. And we wanted a side-by-side so we could ride on the Hatfield McCoy trails, and you know, 2 people could ride. We were riding 4-wheelers, and we wanted a side-by-side just to upgrade. And this one was amazing, and it still is. This is a nice machine. I don't recommend not buying one. However, I don't know if we had we just had some issues. I'll get to those in a minute. But as far as the handling on this machine, it takes curves. You can hit bumps, and it's almost like the faster you go, the better it rides. Top speed before we put the tires on it was roughly 62, I think. And now with the new tires, it'll get up to around 58. And it handles that speed well too. If you're going down an open road or something and you can run 58 miles an hour and it doesn't miss a beat, it goes on with it. And honestly, this machine, the faster it runs, it's like the happier it is. If you're that's one other downfall I've got about something like this. When you're trying to run it around on the farm and work with it, it tends to kind of overheat. And I'm not saying like majorly overheat. It's the temperature bar will get 1 notch above the normal setting. And I know it's just because it's not moving the air through the radiator that it needs to move, because you know, this machine's meant to run. Well, also if you're, well, I'm gonna go to one of my issues that I've had. We just recently was using it here the other day, and it got way hot. And I mean, I just happened to look down and I seen it was hot, and the light was blinking on the dash, and I was like, well, what's going on? So I checked it, and the antifreeze is gone. I haven't seen any leaks anywhere. I haven't seen nothing. It doesn't smoke out the exhaust, you know, like it's got a blowed head gasket or anything like that. It just, I don't know where it went. It's gone. I had to add antifreeze to it. And so, you know, I don't know what's going on there yet. That's something new that just has happened. So I guess we'll find out. But this thing, is a great trail machine though. Other than the ground clearance, it's great because if you put this one side by side like a Razor or a Polaris Ranger or the Arctic Cat, Wildcat, I think it is, or even the Can-Am, this thing's a little more compact and it gets around in the woods really well. You can get on trails that normally just a four-wheeler could go down, and this one will go through them right alongside of the four-wheeler. And I really like that about it. It's a really fun machine to ride. It's got plenty of power. You couldn't ask for more power. Now, I'm trying to think. That's the good stuff of it. It's fun. It handles great. It drives great. It's got good power. It starts really good. I mean, you just turn the key and it fires right up every time, no matter how long it sits, it fires. It's not bad on gas. We can ride all day in West Virginia and use only a tank of fuel, and to me that's pretty good. I'm not exactly sure how much it holds. It holds a few gallons, but it's nothing out of the ordinary. It does have lots of storage. It has a lot of storage. Okay, so right here you have a glove box, which is, you can tell we like to snack when we ride. But you got a glove box here. You've got, you've got a little small compartment there that you can put a few things in. You've got storage under the hood here. This is full. I've got a little mini air compressor, some snacks, and a little tool bag. And it's not watertight. Even though it does have a seal, this is not watertight. Water stuff will get wet in here. So think about that if you're trying to ride in some pretty nasty muddy conditions. But so that's with the good stuff on it. Now, I'm gonna get to a few of the bad things now. All right, first off, this is something minor. It's nothing major at all. The headlights, they work okay. They're not the stock headlights in this thing are not the best there is. I mean, they're bright, but they're not the best. So that's why you see that light bar I've got there. I had to add that. It helped out tremendously. We added this front bumper here to help protect the front end, and it's been really good. If we got stuck, we've got the tow hooks here to pull us to hook to. But the headlights they're not that impressive from the factory. And one other thing that they do is when this thing idles, I've been told that they don't create a lot of charge. And so the two outside lights, this one and this one, will go out if it sits and idles for over a few seconds. And so it doesn't pull too much charge from the charging system. So that, to me, was kind of weird. I don't know, but whatever. Anyways, one other thing. The major complaint with this machine, and I mean, I don't know what happened. Not sure. Don't know why it happened, but it happened. I can't see it now. But down in there is the engine. Down in there's your oil filter. You can see it's dirty. I mean, this thing has been trail road. It's not a showroom machine. But that engine was replaced at, I'd had it about 2 years. And if I could find somewhere, it's written on the frame here. I don't see it right now. It was right at like 90, maybe 80 or 90 hours. They had to put a brand new engine in this thing under warranty. And what happened was it started knocking. It created a bottom end knock, and it kind of lost power on us, and we had to get towed back. We were in West Virginia when it happened, and we had to get towed several miles back to our campsite. But that's going to bring me to one other good point here. John Deere stood by that. The warranty had been up for exactly, I think the warranty had run out for exactly a week. I called up my dealer when this happened and told him what was going on, and he he worked with me. He told me that he was pretty sure that Deere would stand by this thing, being that it had been out of warranty for only a week, and they did. They took care of everything. They replaced the engine. I got a brand new engine. Matter of fact, I got two brand new engines. The first engine they put in it, they run it out there at the dealer for about 8 hours, and as it tripped 8 hours, the timing chain snapped, and it dropped a valve and completely destroyed the top end of that engine. So they put another one in it, and this one here now has, I don't know, maybe 60, 70 hours on it, and it's done okay. I haven't had any problems with it so far, so hopefully let's keep our fingers crossed, except for this here coolant issue. I don't know what's going on there, but hopefully it's nothing major. Now, one other thing I'd like to mention is, when I buy something, I like to buy it for looks, and I don't know if what you guys think, but I think this thing's got a really cool stance to it. I mean, just look at it. It looks good, and when you meet one on the trail, you know what it is, because there's nothing else out there that looks like a Deere Gator. And people laugh all the time when we're riding. They're like, dude, you're riding a Gator on the trails? And I'm like, yep, sure am. And nobody knows about this particular John Deere Gator model. They're just not very popular, not in my area anyways. But that brings me back to why I've got one of these instead of buying like a Polaris or Can-Am or something like that. We farm and we deal with our Deere dealer quite a bit, and Deere's always offering like 0% financing for 60 months and stuff like that. So when I went to check on this Gator, just so happens it was one of the times when they had 0% financing. So I took advantage of it, and they also had I think a couple $1,000s off of the machine as well. There was some special rebates they had going on. So all in all, we come out a whole lot cheaper where we didn't have to pay interest, and we got the few thousand off just in rebates than if we would have had bought a Can-Am, a Polaris, or Arctic Cat or anything like that, because you don't hear of 0% financing for one of those brands. So I don't regret buying this machine at all, but there has been some issues that I wanted to point out. And one other thing that we have is, I was telling you about the headlight deal. When you're riding at nighttime and you're running the light bar, you've got the radio turned on up in the overhead console. You're pulling, I guess, a few amps. This thing will blow a battery fuse, and I haven't figured out why it does that yet either. I don't know if it's pulling too much power and it just puts too much of a load on the charging system, or if there's something actually shorted out. However, it only does it when you have the headlights, the LED bar, and the radio on, or just the headlights and the LED bar. You have to have one or the other. You can't be riding this thing. When it was brand new, it was fine. However, this is something that's come up in the last 2 years, and so I don't know what's going on with that. So I just get by with riding it without one or the other. If I can do without the radio, or do without the light bar, or do without the headlights, one of the three, then I can get by just fine and not have to worry about anything. But this has been a really fun machine for us. I know it doesn't have a lot of miles and it don't have a lot of hours, but we rode it hard. It's been rode hard and put up with, as you might say. And so I'm not doing this video to knock this machine. I'm doing this video to kind of make you aware of some of the issues I've had, and it's been an interesting ride. I don't know what I would have done if I'd have had to pay for that engine. That wouldn't have been good at all. So luckily I didn't. But it is, we got the windshield here. I'll show you the radio. I'm not sure if you can see up there, but it's got a really nice console. I mean, these lights light up the cab really good. We added a mirror, and then there's your speaker, and you got another speaker over there for the radio. And nothing more than just a tractor style radio like would be in the cab of your tractor. But it has been a good machine other than these few issues. My biggest complaint was, the Deere dealership worked with me and they done a really good job on getting this thing fixed. However, it took Deere a long time to get me an engine. We had this thing was at the Deere dealer for almost 6 months before we got it back, and that's probably one reason it has so few miles on it. Because we went for about 6 months there and couldn't use it. And so like I said, it's had its issues, but it's also a fun machine. If maybe I just got a bad one, I don't know. So it's just one of those things that happens. Everything mechanical is going to break. Mine just broke sooner than I thought it should have. But, if I was going to buy it again, I probably wouldn't buy a Gator. But I can't complain with the service I got from my Deere dealer at all. They helped me out a bunch. They didn't have to fix this thing under warranty because it was run out, and that would just been me. But they did. They fixed it. So, looks like I'm going to have to be calling them now about some antifreeze issues, and that's probably going to have to be paid for because the warranty's been out now for about 2 years. But it has been a really fun machine. We did have to put a belt and clutch in it, and I think that's due to the fact that I've been using it here on the farm and going slow speeds and stuff, so when you're going a slow speed on a belt-driven machine, all that stuff's kind of like in a slippage mode. Like I'm talking like 3 to 4 or 5 miles an hour. I'm not, really slow. And just because of this not being a slow speed machine, and it's not exactly what I would call a workhorse. This is an in between. You got your dump bed, but yet it's not very big. You can't put a lot back there. Also, it's not really got a lot of towing capacity either, so you can't load it down with a lot of stuff. And plus, you really don't have enough room to load it down with a lot of stuff. I mean, you're not going to haul much wood in this little bed, and you're not going to haul several bags of fertilizer or anything like that in this little bed. It's just, I don't know, I kind of think it's made for looks, but but they kind of call this a hybrid machine. It's between a work vehicle and a play vehicle. And it does a really good job on the play side. It's fun. I've rode in Razors, I've rode in Can-Ams, and I'd just as soon be riding in this one. It's fun. But anyways, I just wanted to kind of bring this out. I'd been wanting to do this review for a while because there's not a lot of stuff on a Gator on YouTube, and I felt like it needed to be put out there, because somebody else may be wanting to buy one too. But as for now, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. We will be doing a review on our Kubota X 1140 pretty soon. That's kind of what we bought to take this one's place here on the farm. I'm not planning on selling this one because we still ride it on trails and stuff and go trail riding with it. However, that's going to be our work vehicle here on the farm because this one just doesn't really cut it for a work vehicle. And so that the slow speed thing is what really gets you. If you're trying to do some spraying or if you're trying to pull something or anything like that, the way the clutch and stuff engages in this machine, it just doesn't like slow speeds at all. And it's not just this. I've been in other belt driven machines too, and they're the same way. So the Kubota with the hydrostatic transmission has worked a lot better on the farm for us than this one has, but that's another video. Anyways, if you're looking for a trail riding machine, I'm not saying you shouldn't. You need to consider this machine because hopefully, keep my fingers crossed. I'm a big Deere fan, so hopefully I just got a bad one. But like I said though, the dealer made it worth me buying a Deere, and they stood by this machine. But anyways, if you like seeing this kind of stuff, like I said, subscribe to the channel. We're doing all kinds of things on the farm. You never know what we're going to be doing next. And anyways, we'll talk to you later.